triple C, I'ma make him bend the knee. Rolling with the triple C, don't really count the heat.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to this episode of Go Talk. I am your host, Cejudo, aka Triple C. And today's topic, I would like to talk about UFC 281. And the fight that really comes at me right now is a #1 contender spot or somebody that could fight Conor McGregor. Yes, I am talking about Dustin Poirier versus Michael Chandler. I tell you what, guys, if Michael Chandler could really bring forth his wrestling, I believe he's an All-American too, out of Missouri, wrestled with Ben Askren, wrestled with a lot of elite wrestlers back in his heyday. If he's able to bring that style and tactically fight Poirier, if we see he's had struggles in the past with Khabib Nurmagomedov when he got on top of him, and the other one was Charles Oliveira. I mean, talk about just top control that has been able to give the upper hand when you fight a guy like Poirier, because Poirier does have the right hands, the left hook. His boxing is solid. He does have heavy hands for a 45er who eventually went up to 155. The reason why this match is extremely important, the reason why this match is the main event, is for the simple fact that the winner could fight, Islam Makhachev. It seems like the UFC is it seems like nobody's talking about Volkanovski and Islam no more. I'm not sure if the UFC has faith in a guy like Volkanovski in order for him to go out there and actually beat a guy like Islam. I'm not sure if the UFC or Dana White and everybody else, I'm not sure if they believe in their pound for pound king. So for that reason, I think this fight might be next. And it's actually smart due to their part. I think Volkanovski needs more time, and I think he needs to fight guys that are probably he needs to focus more of his training camp if he wants to become a double champ into that. But anyways, this isn't about Volkanovski. This is about two fighters in their prime that literally are, if you want to call it, privileged, that could potentially be the next guy to fight for the title or the next guy to fight a Conor McGregor. I tell you what, just watching them fight, if they're to fight just the way they typically fight, I would have to go Poirier just for the better striking, the takedown defense, the experience of him fighting with other fighters. But tactically, if Michael Chandler can bring back that wrestling, I do believe it could be a different fight. I'm just not sure. I don't know of Michael Chandler's IQ, so for that reason, I'm going to have to go Dustin Poirier. I think it's going to be a good fight, but I just give the edge to him. He's got the better hands. He kicks too. Poirier has gotten better throughout the past. He's got that chip on his shoulder. So those are my two takes on Michael Chandler versus Dustin Poirier.
Yeah, Henry, I want to ask you a little bit more about Michael Chandler. Does it frustrate you sometimes seeing the game plan that he has with the talent that he has? As you mentioned, an All-American wrestler. He's one of the best athletes we have in UFC, one of the strongest in the lightweight division. So is it frustrating for you when you see him sometimes in these fights just lose the game plan that he came in with?
A little bit, but it's not just Michael Chandler. It's a lot of people. A lot of people forget their wrestling. A lot of people, because wrestling's hard, because when you start to wrestle and you start fighting, it becomes harder. If you don't build that threshold, it's not just about, wrestling, because wrestling is the hardest base out of all these mixed martial arts. I mean, wrestling is the base, and it's the reason why people have become more. There's been more champions in the UFC because of wrestling than any other sport out there. So that being said, numbers don't lie. But that being said, it's hard to wrestle when you fight. And if Michael Chandler did not train wrestling for this camp, his top control, tying up wrists, breaking Poirier down, being heavy with them on top, it's not going to go good for Chandler. And I think it's an exciting fight for Chandler versus an Islam. I think Chandler has the better takedown defense to be able to defend a guy like Islam, but he doesn't have those takedowns, which he could pull him out if he does beat a Poirier. I think he would be an excellent fight, an excellent match for Islam. I think on their feet, you know, it can be pretty even. And if it just stays on their feet, who knows who could become the winner? But that being said, do I get frustrated with Michael Chandler? Yes, I do. But it's not just Michael Chandler. It's a lot of those guys like Yoel Romero. A lot of those guys that completely have lost their title quest because of the entertainment, because they want to do X, Y, and Z. And if you don't really back it, if you don't bring it back to wrestling, you're going to learn the hard way. Because at the end of the day, guys, competition is competition, but it's all about winning.
And you brought up Conor McGregor. Between the two of them, is there one of them you would rather see him fight? We've obviously seen a bunch of Poirier matchups, but the last one kind of ended controversial with the leg break. Is there anyone you'd want to see most want to see him fight between those two?
I think between those two, I think he would have a better shot with Chandler. Just for the simple fact that Chandler doesn't kick. And Chandler doesn't have that kick like Poirier. Poirier can sneak that kick in. I don't think Chandler can. So I'd probably give my shot better to Chandler than I would Poirier. Because Poirier, you can just tell Conor McGregor's power cannot do anything no more to Poirier. And Poirier's power could really damage a guy like Conor McGregor. So that being said, I think the tougher matchup for a guy like, or a better matchup for a guy like Conor McGregor, you have to go Michael Chandler. You take it with a leg kick. He's an explosive fighter, and I think that's it. But I also do think, and these are things that Chandler may pull out of his back pocket. Can he wrestle? I think he'll decide to wrestle a guy like Conor McGregor. I think if you exit both of these guys off, I think the best fight for a Conor McGregor, his name is Tony Ferguson. You know, they've had beef in the back. They don't like each other. I think that's the fight that somebody like Conor McGregor needs to come back and fight, to be able to get his name back out there and, you know, put his name on the hat.
So if you think Poirier is going to come out victorious in this one, do you think he deserves a title shot with a win? Or would you rather see him fight, you know, maybe a Beneil Dariush or some other lightweight contender first?
Yeah, no, I think Poirier's had a shot. I mean, the same song's going to be sung. You know, unless Poirier was to go to a Penn State and really demonstrate that he's learned from his takedown defense and learned how to use a cage as his friend. But he's still at ATT. With all due respect to ATT, maybe he needs to add somebody in there or do something. Sometimes change is a good thing. I'm not saying leave ATT. What I'm saying is add to it. Find a good college wrestler that can ride you so you could feel those feels. These Dagestans, that's not Dagestani handcuff wrestling. That's American folk style type wrestling. I guarantee you guys, man, you guys start to really understand that. You'll know why. You know, American wrestling is the hardest wrestling style in the world. So that being said, no, I don't think Poirier deserves it. I think you go with Volkanovski number one, but I know he's being protective. And then number two, you go with Dariush. I think Dariush has gone on a crazy rampage. He has beaten guys that I thought he was going to lose to Gamrot. And when guys like that prove you wrong, he deserves it. So for that reason, you know, I think Michael Chandler. Now, if Michael Chandler wins, I mean, I think he deserves that second shot because he had a better chance at beating Oliveira. But it's up for grabs. I personally believe Volkanovski needs it. I just think he's being protected for the right reasons. And Volkanovski, if he wants that fight, he's gonna have to step up and really get on that Twitter and really get on that Instagram, because closed mouths don't get fed in this game. So thank you guys again for watching. It means a lot to me. So you guys remember, there's more breakdowns, there's more technique, there's more tactics, and there's definitely more cringe. So make sure to subscribe and click on that button. I'm out!